So, according to our new NCSM syllabus, these Bala Samskaras are included in growth and development. As we all know, in Komarabhrutya topic, second topic is growth and development. In that, one of the part is this Bala Samskaras. As I mentioned in a screen, the course outcome will be the evaluate the normal growth and development, demonstrate the skills in assessing the development of a child according to Ayurvedic researches, and formulate Ayurveda methods to building good immunity in the children, and construct their Ahara Vihara. These all will be benefited through our topic. So obviously, as you, the PO is mentioned, after learning this topic, after knowing the Bala Samskara correctly, the person will be able to understand the principles and significant scientific role of Bala Samskaras in promoting the healthy growth development, immunity and overall well-being, and applying the knowledge of Bala Samskara in planning and implementing preventive and promotive health care measures for children according to Ayurvedic principles. So initially, before Bala Samskaras, these overall the cultural events, what we samskaras we say, those are from birth till death. We have Shodasha Samskaras, as mentioned in the screen. Initially, first is Garbhodanam, next Pumsavanam, Simantonayana, Jata Karma, Namakarna Sanskara, Nishkramana, Annaprashana, Chuda Karma, Karna Vedana, Upanayana, Vedaramba, Samavarta, Vivaha, Vanaprastha, Sannyasa and Swargaroha. These all are Shodasha Samskaras from birth till death. What all events, even these all we know in religious also. As I mentioned, these all samskaras even are in our religious we follow, but the pattern may be different, the days may be different we follow, but these all usually in all our religious we follow, but we don't know why we are doing this. So today's session is for that reason only. But rather than Shodasha Samskaras, as our topic is Bala Samskaras, that is childhood Samskaras. These all Samskaras are from birth till death, as I mentioned. But these in this Shodasha, only childhood Samskaras which we follow, I choose and I am going to explain. The first childhood samskara immediately after birth which we follow is Jata Karma Samskara. That is nothing but birth ceremony which we follow immediately after birth, like immediately after baby coming out we will follow. According to Acharyas, what rituals, what procedures we should follow in this samskara, has Acharya Charaka mentioned Prasam, Stanapana and Udaka Kumbha Stapana. In that Prasam is nothing but Madhu and Grita, mixing the both, licking to a baby. But point to be noted here is, as we all know, Madhu and Grita are Viruddha Ahara. So we should take in an unequal quantity. We should know, if we take in an equal quantity, they will act as Viruddha Ahara. So we should take in unequal quantity and we can lick through the as Prasha. Prasha only Tarjani Madhyama Angushte. The, with one Madhyama finger, if we dip in that semi-liquid and we can lick to a baby's tongue. That is Prasha. Stanapana, obviously, as we know, in even in modern we will say, as soon as possible baby's birth, has mother she becomes stable, and even in modern they mention within 2 hours after birth we should feed a baby, especially breast milk, so that the all the immunoglobulins will enter the baby and obviously it helps in nourishment. But as Acharyas mentioned, the right breast should be advanced to suck first. And Udaka Kumbhastapana, water filled, like water processed with mantras, we should keep in a near the head of the baby. Why? Because has now technology developed, we have warmers, we have ACs in summer to maintain the temperature of the room. But has in our Acharya's period, in olden period, it was not there. These all technologies was not present. So to maintain the room temperature, they were using this Udaka Kumbha Stapana. In summer days, they were filling the pot with the cold water, and in winter and rainy seasons, has environment will be cold, so they were filling with the warm water, hot water in a pot, and they were keeping near the head of the baby to maintain the temperature of the room. So that was according to Acharya Charaka. According to Acharya Vagbhata, they mentioned प्रजापत्येन विधिना जातकर्माणि कारयेत्. According to Ashtanga Hridaya Uttara Tantra, first chapter 11th shloka, has we saw in Prasha the Madhu and Ghrita in unequal quantity we should take, and we should lick to a newborn. Immediately after birth babies we should lick. And even not our acharyas has mentioned, these were following in our religious also, and in our, especially as I know, in Hindus religious we will do this, right? Like some people will make the swastik on tongue with honey, or some people will write om. We will follow this, but they the scientific reason behind that we don't know. The scientific reason we don't know, but we are following this, right? The scientific reason behind that has I mentioned here. Like by licking this madhu and grita in unequal quantity, it will stimulate the gastrointestinal intrinsic nerve plexus, so that the baby will pass the meconium at the earliest. Here meconium means the first motion, first stool what the baby passes blackish in color, that is known as meconium. As early as possible it should be passed. Within 24 hours it should be passed. So maximum is 48 hours. So if it passed, obviously we all know that the gastrointestinal plexus will be stimulated, so that all the gastrointestinal functioning will be started. So to do that, to make that to pass as early as possible, they are making this to lick madhu and grita in unequal quantity, we are making to lick. So as till now we saw the first jata karma sanskara. The scientific reason behind it, obviously breastfeeding to maintain the nourishment of a baby, to give the strength to a baby, as immediately after birth the baby will be eager. As we all know, in womb the baby will be getting all the nourishment to placenta, but immediately after birth, as baby starts its respiratory and cardiovascular system functioning, the baby should be given the nourishment, one thing. And as we know, the first 7 days breast milk will be filled with colostrum, so immunoglobulins will be passed to baby. So as early as possible we should go for breast milk. And chanting mantras, even by keeping the pot filled water, or while giving the prasha, we should chant mantras, because as we all know, it will influence the good vibe to a environment and even to our babies, so that their intelligence, destiny or spiritual will be activated through that mantras. Because as we all know, as we are Ayurvedic physicians, we know it better, that while pronunciation of mantras will create the good vibration to us and even to environments, right? So that is the scientific reason. And as I said, the licking of madhu and grita will stimulate the gastrointestinal nerve plexus, so that baby will pass the meconium at the earliest. Coming for our next samskara, that is namakarna samskara. As we all know, we all have our own names, right? But we don't know, almost all religious, I guess, we will be having two names, right? Why those two names? They mentioned here. One thing, as we all know, we all have names for identity, to identify that I am Meenakshi, that person is with that name. For our identity, we want one name. As Acharyas mentioned, the time of this period will be, according to Ashtanga Sangraha, Namakana can be done on 10th or 12th day. Kashyapa Samhita and Ashtanga Hridaya mentions 10th day as appropriate for Namakarna. And this choosing of days also may by choosing their in our religious we follow, has baby born, we will see the nakshatra and timing. According to that we will choose the days, right? Good days, and we will follow that. And in all samskaras, preparation of baby or preparation of the procedure will be here, making the baby to bath and wear white cloths, even for mother taking a bath and wearing a white clothes and praying for a god. White cloth, obviously we all know, it is a sign of peace. So we will whatever new thing or whatever puja, especially the puja procedures we are doing, we will do it from the white color cloths. And next, the baby should be made to sit over the pad or the place of cloths with the head towards east or north. Again, we prefer east or north as a good or has a auspicious direction, maybe due to airflow or maybe due to the sun rays. So these all few reasons. We should make the baby to sit towards facing east or north, and we should proceed with the procedure. Thereafter, the baby, again here they mentioned, in our classics they mentioned as father, but in our different religions we follow different. In some religions they will follow the mother's brother, they will say the name. In some religions maybe other person, any elder one who is guardian of a baby can be chosen. Should utter offering salutation to diet and Brahmins, then two names should be kept. Why those two names? Because one name according to the nakshatra of the baby born, because as we all know, as especially in our Hindus religion, we follow that whatever the baby born on time, that nakshatra's vibes or that nakshatra's presence will be overall the baby's life, right? So even according to that, we should keep the two names, that is according to nakshatra at the baby born time, and another name should be a Rudinama, because this what our acharyas or what our elders believe, that whatever the name kept on this nakshatra first letter, that should not be used as regular basis, because for example, now I may be a good person or I may be a bad person for few people. I'll not be good for everyone or I'll not be bad for everyone, right? We all know this. Has, for example, now my common name is like Rudinama is Meenakshi. So if people curse also will be affected to my name, and if people say good also will be affected to my name. It is a common thing. But if it is on our nakshatra's name, whatever nakshatra's name we kept, that will affect our life, they believe. And it I think it's true also. So they say we should not say our nakshatra, janma nama, whatever we got from nakshatra, it should not be said everywhere. It should be only used for puja purposes. Like when we say, when we do some homas, we are doing from puja on our name, at that period we can use our nakshatra's name. And everywhere, for daily uses, we should be given as Rudinama. So we should keep two names. That too, how the two names should be, our acharyas mentioned. The popular name should begin with the Ghosha alphabet, that is consonant alphabet, and end with the Antastha alphabet, four vowels alphabet. It should end. It should begin with the consonant alphabet and it should end with the four vowels alphabet. And it should not be letter with the Vriddhi and Parva. And the name should not be newly established. It should not be it should be similar to that of the preceding generation, and name should donate with the baby stars or devotee, as I said. But no, obviously we all know, we all like no one are following these all nowadays. Obviously, and scientifically, if we prove according to practically for present generation, we are seeing in many negative lifestyles, right? It may be in the families, relationships, husband wife relationships, or it may be parent children relationships, or it may be a lifestyle whatever we are leading. These all are not so good as before our elders were living, right? Maybe one of the reason is this, because we are not following any one of these to keep our children's names, right? Usually how we search, it should be a new name. No one should be that name should not be repeated with any of the surrounding people. That names we will choose. But actually, according to our acharyas, it's wrong, because again, as I said already, these whatever names we are keeping, it will overall rotate to our lives. It will be fixable to our lives. So we should not we should follow these procedures, and we should keep. So scientific reason has already I discussed. These names will strengthen our life. It will strengthen our lifestyle what we are following, and also has commonly the social bonding. By calling their particular name or identity, the bonding will be strengthened and their identity will be cleared in further life. Our next samskara is Nishkramana samskara. Nishkramana here is nothing but taking out the baby from Kumaragara. Again, for present generation, I think it will not be suitable, because in older generation, what we are discussing in Acharya generation, almost till last 5 to 10 years, they were following it correctly, I guess. They were, after delivery, till maximum 3 months to 5 months, they were not coming out from the home, right? Even if they went for delivery for mother's home, returning husband's home was 3 months or 5 months. But nowadays, no, any women are sitting in home after delivery. Even if it is a normal delivery, next day they will come out and roam. Or if it is a cesarean section, because of stitches, I think they will sit in home for 10 days and later they will start to roam. Actually, according to our acharyas, they mention Nishkramana in 4th month has time of Nishkramana. Acharya Kashyapa and Acharya Vagbhata considered 4th month as the appropriate time for Nishkramana samskara. Again, preparing the baby will be same, like having the bath, wearing the white clothes, and as we are taking the baby out, processing with the Rakshogna. It may be Dhupana or wearing some Rakshogna drugs should be made, and make the baby to come out of Kumaragara. Where they should go after coming out from Kumaragara, directly they should go for temple. They should make the worships, or they will take the blessings of Brahmin and God, and they will return to home. Why we are doing this? Because as it is first time that child exposes to some sort of external environment stimuli, mainly visual and auditory. This karma helps the physician to confirm the proper functioning of their sense organs, especially ear and eyes. Because as baby will be taken out of the home, many sounds will be surrounding. It may be vehicle sound or other sounds. So we will get to know whether baby can hear it correctly or not, because has sound, different sounds hears, baby will turn to that sound, right? And even the vision, has baby will expose first time to out, it may be for Surya's light, it may be for sun's light or bright light, daylight, how the baby will react. Because according to modern view, macular fixation and papillar adjustment is attained during the same, like 4th month. So to examine this, scientific reason is behind this. After 3 months of completion, we should take the baby out. During early weeks, eye movement and coordination may not be perfect. However, proper coordination should be achieved in 3 to 6 months. So as I said, the scientific reason behind this is has environment. The inner, till 3 months, what the baby's routine will be, in same dark room, baby will sleep, get up, feed, do the daily activities, and again baby will sleep. This will be the overall routine of a baby. When you take out, as I mentioned in the last slide, ear and eyes examination will be done, that they are working correctly or not. We can do this, and provide the appropriate exposure to natural daylight we can do, and helps establish healthy circadian rhythms. Circadian rhythms is nothing but it's daytime, I should get up and I should feed, and it is night, I should sleep. These overall routine will be monitored in a baby after 4th month. And practically also we can see, right, till 3 months baby's routine will be hampered. Some babies will sleep whole day and will be wake up whole night, or some babies vice versa they will do. It will not be a correct routine, right? After 3 months, from 4th month, babies will start to change. Even our mothers or even our grandparents will say this. When the newly delivered mothers will complain that baby is not sleeping, till 3 months, don't worry, baby will be changing its routine. After 3 months only, baby will take its correct rhythm, right? So that is the reason why they mention Nishkramana Samskara in 4th month. Our next samskara is Upaveshana. Upaveshana samskara is nothing but making the baby to sit with support. When we can do this, time of samskara is according to Acharya Kashyapa 6th month, according to Sangraha, Ashtanga Sangraha 5th month. Like procedure, what we are doing here, baby should be bathed and dressed up, worshipping gods and satisfying brahmanas by deity should be performed. The site should be smeared with cow dung and the toys of baby should be placed. Why? Obviously, as we know, cow dung is antimicrobial. So, to maintain a hygiene to a baby, to avoid the unhygiene, to avoid the infections, the place should be smeared with cow dung. Obviously, now as technology developed, we are sterilizing the site or place with this sanitizer or something else, right? So in olden days they were using cow dung. And why toys? Because as babies favorite toys are kept, baby will be comfortable to do the activities whatever we are doing. So to make the baby comfortable, we are keeping the toys. The baby should be made to sit for one muhurta. One muhurta is nothing but 48 minutes facing east. After muhurta, baby should be lifted carefully. It should be repeated daily. For single day, only 48 minutes. If we are doing like Upaveshna Samskara, we should not make repeatedly for every hour. Daily for one muhurta, we should make the baby to sit with support, and next on daily basis, it should be repeated. But here in this samskara, we have some precautionary tips. That is, duration should not be too long, not more than 48 minutes. Child should always be assisted, never left alone, because baby can fall. Baby won't have any, still that capacity to sit with support without any like disturbance, right? Baby is still learning, so it should be assisted in place. One person should be assisted for whole this one muhurta. This need not be performed while baby is ill, because if baby is already ill, we all know baby will not be comfortable, baby can't sit. So at that period we should not do. They mentioned like we should make the baby to sit one muhurta only. If we prolonged this duration, what will happen? They gave some points: weakness of hip, hunchback, tiredness, fever, retention of feces, urine, and flatus develop due to sitting for longer duration. But rather than, if early sitting, as they mentioned, fifth month, if we make the baby to sit before fifth month, in second or third month only, as neck folding will be completed in few babies in third month only. So if that period only, if we make the baby to sit in fourth month only, after completion of third month, if we make the baby to sit, what will happen? Vitiation of vata occurs, which leads to fever, pain, hardness of body parts, or even arrest of further growth and development may occur, because their spine will not be still stable. Their spine will not be having stability to sit. So before fifth month only, if we make the baby to sit with support, then these are complications may occur due to vitiation of vata. So we should not do. So why we are doing this? Why we are making the baby to sit with support? We can live like that only, and we obviously has stage developed, has milestones. We know the patterns of milestones are this like developmental changes only, right? As baby grows on, baby will learn by itself. Why we should do? Because obviously one thing we don't know, babies don't know what to do and what not to do. As we make the baby to learn, baby will start to learn. So if by making this sitting with support, making the baby to sit with support after fifth month, strengthens the muscle and posture, improves balance and motor coordination, supporting cognitive and sensory development, and preparing the infant for complementary feeding. Because after sixth month, we will start the baby to feed complementary feedings, right? Okay, like till 6 months we are making the baby to feed breastfeeding, so in lying position we will feed. But after sixth month, when weaning will be started, I think I can answer this for like in end of the session, right?
No, no.
Preparing the infant for complementary feeding, like as we start to feed, it will be comfortable to make the baby to sit and feed. So we are making the baby to practice with support. Like our next samskara is Annaprashana Samskara. It is a samskara related to feeding. Obviously, Annaprashana, we are feeding the baby, and After teeth eruption, the child should be gradually taken away from the breastfeed. Has one thing, after teeth, till eruption of teeth, baby will not be able to chew or swallow anything correctly, so we are making exclusively breast milk. After eruption of teeth, when baby will be able to start weaning, so we should start this one reason. And at the same time, after completion of 6th month, only breast milk will not be sufficient for baby's nourishment, baby's growth, so we should start weaning. But as our acharyas are mentioning, at the same time, child should not be given kshira along with the lagu. As we are starting weaning, we should not stop the breast milk, it should be continued. And even our weaning supplementary food also, how it should be, kshira along with lagu and brahmana ahara we should give. This does not mean that baby, obviously, as I said. And why here 8th month? Because as I'm saying, weaning should be started at 6th month. Why acharyas mentioned 8th month, I'll say in further slides. Generally advise breastfeeding up to 2 years. Though we are starting supplementary foods, up to 2 years breast milk should be continued. With that, we can give a supplementary feed. So time of Annaprashana according to Kashyapa 10th month. Why 10th month? In further slides I'll say. According to Ashtanga Sangraha and Vagbhata open 6th month. According to Sushruta, Acharya Sushruta 6th month. And obviously, like procedure, again the place should be smeared with the cow dung, and it should be baby should be made with the white bathing, white cloths, worshipping brahmanas, everything, and chanting mantras, smearing the side and spreading the darpa. Physician eating paste should be like start feeding the baby. And ignite initially, before procedure, what they are saying, after igniting fire, a delicious diet compromising for cereals and drinks made from meat should be first offered as oblation to fire, as we do in all procedures. In religious also we will do this, right? One prasada we will give to God, that the everything should go on smoothly. And next, the like 3-4 times, 3 to 5 times, the thumb like angushta matra for a baby should be fed. How it should be given for a child? For 3 to 5 times in a same quantity. Scientific reason, as I said, from 6th month baby will not be able to get nourished, or the only breast milk will not be sufficient for baby's growth and development, further growth and development. So baby need extra food to nourish the body. One thing. Another thing, has after 6 months the digestive power will be increased, the digestion capacity will be increased, and baby will be able to digest the other also. Till 6th month baby digestion capacity will be to digest only the breast milk, but after 6th month baby will be able to digest the other foods also. So we can do, we can start the Annaprashana. As I said, why Annaprashana according to Kashyapa in 10th month? Because rest all acharyas from 6th month only they said we can start Annaprashana, but only the Acharya Kashyapa is a person who explained Phala Prashana initially from 6th month. Later, after eruption of teeth fully, obviously as we all know, the eruption of teeth age is after 7th month, right? So after completion of 7th month, eruption will start. So after that eruption of teeth, you can start Annaprashana. Before that, from 6th month you should start Phala Prashana according to Kashyapa, according to Acharya Kashyapa. This child is fed exclusively with breast milk till 6 months. Thereafter, prior introducing of solid foods, so as to make the GIT customized to it, liquid is given. According to Acharya Kashyapa, was what they are saying, till 6 months baby will be exclusively on breast milk. But immediately after 6 months, immediately if we start solid foods, it may hamper the digestion capacity of a baby. It may be load to a baby. So to customize baby's GIT, initially we should start with the Phala Prashana. Phala Prashana means here Acharya are not saying directly to give fruits. We should make them make fruits in a liquid form, juices form, or porridge, like porridge form, like smashing the fruits, and we should feed. Then when GIT is customized to a extra foods, after eruption of teeth we can start the Annaprashana. So our next samskara is Chuda karma, that is tonsure of hairs. Usually we will do this in age of 3 years. Why? Protection of a child, that is probably from grahas. During this period there is a refinement in motor skills. Crude locomotor activities are applied in specialized activities and games, and so they should be encouraged to play games. And why we are removing this hair? Scientific reason is, from a modern scientific perspective, the main benefit of chuda karma are improved scalp hygiene, obviously, like because in routine also we will do this, right, to maintain a hygiene, or it may be in summer to maintain a infectious conditions, and ensure, especially why in 3 years, because ensure identification of scalp disorders. Why not before 3 years? Because as we know, the frontanellas will be closed after completion of 2 years, right? So it is not as Acharya has mentioned, it is not accurate time to do this removing of hairs in before 2 years, as frontanellas will be open. But as we all know, some few religious will do this before 1 year or 2 year. In this age only they will do, I guess. But as Acharya has mentioned, it should be done in 3 years. Better comfort in warm climates. And as I said, identification of scalp disorders may be done by removing hairs. So our next samskara is Karna Vedana samskara. As it's mentioned, Karna Vyadhi Krite Balo Na Grahair Abhibhuyate. Means obviously why we are wearing all this like piercing ears, earrings, everything, for bhushana, to look good looking, right? To for our beauty. But rather than uh, looking good or bhushana, even Karna Vedana is one of the important samskara in medical terms also. How? It believed that Karna Vedana protects the baby from untoward health complications like grahas. The time of Karna Vedana, as our Acharya has mentioned, during 6th, 7th or 8th month of age in the Shishira Rutu, has an auspicious day in the morning, Karna Vedana has to be done. According to Griya Sutra, Karna Vedana has to be done in the 3rd or 5th month. Procedure, obviously, like all sorts of steps what we discussed in last slide should be done by chanting mantras. Baby is seated on the mother's lap, made happy, and ear is punctured. The right ear should be punctured first in case of male child, and the left ear in the female child. Site of puncturing, middle of the earlobe. In the Sanskrit term, it is known as Daiva Krute Chidre. The spot should be marked with the color of Laksha, because to mark it correctly, as Laksha Rasa will be like identity marks, identity mark the color of the Laksha as it is red, and single and straight stroke should be done. Instrument should used is Arashastra. After piercing, the cotton thread soaked in oil should be drawn through the puncturing and the side bathed with unprocessed oil. The thread should be changed for every 3rd day with thicker thread to widen the puncture. But nowadays we are not following this. Before, as it was in olden days, they were following this. In nowadays, as we all know, directly with gold like string, they are piercing and they are rotating it. They will leave it. Complications. What complications may occur in some precautionary tips? Since siras known by the name Kalika, Marmari and Rakta are situated there, if location of puncturing is not correct, if it is not correctly at the earlobe, then it may cause, if the Kalika Sira is injured, Jwara, Daha, Shofa, Ruk may occur, or if it is Marmari, if it is injured, Jwara, Ruk, Granthi may occur in a child. Like Lohutaki is, if it is punctured, tetanus symptoms or Siragraha or Karnashula may occur. So the site should be marked correctly with Laksharasa and should be done. Why ear piercing is the behind the scientific reason is, puncturing ear may help to activate immune mechanism so as to bring secondary immunity against several infections. Because as we know, like we all may be thinking by puncturing this earlobe, how the immune system will be stimulated. Obviously, as foreign body is entering here, there will be some for like infections or some something changes will be, and our antibodies will be activated to fight against that foreign body, right? So that is nothing but we are stimulating our immune system. As we are doing this in an early stage, their immune system will be stimulated and their secondary immunity will be uh, increased. So next samskara is Upanayana samskara. This is the samskara performed at the age of 8, 11 or 12 years for a Brahmin, Kshatriya or Vyasa respectively. Even in other religions, as we say, Vedharamba, for Vedhara. Now we have many of schools or institutes we are sending from home only. But in before days, what they were doing, when the baby is able to or baby is stable to go out and make its own. As we all know, children are of two forms, Paratantra and Swatantra. When the baby were Paratantra, when they are depending on guardian or mother, they were doing all this. When baby becomes Swatantra, they were sending for Gurukuls to learn the all these mantras or whatever knowledge baby want to gain, right? So that was done as Upanayana or Vedaramba, with child is handed over to a teacher to start sacred study after tying a sacred thread. It involves full dedication towards a professional course, spending all the time under the guidance of the teacher. Also learns wide worldly wisdoms. Why they are doing this? Obviously, why we are studying, why we are getting knowledge. Now we have many fields, so we are choosing the fields and we are going. Before, it was not any different fields. Their only motto was to attain or to gain all sorts of knowledges and to get the dharma, like overall the blessings of the society or blessings of the life, right? So Upanayana Sanskara can be understood as a structured educational and psychological intervention that prepares a child for disciplined learning, ethical living and responsible citizenship. Practices such as mantra chanting, regulated breathing, meditation and daily discipline have recognized benefits for cognitive function, emotional stability and overall health. So obviously, even our knowledge why we are gaining, initially they were not having this different fields, so only their motto was to dharma artha kama moksha, to attain all this, right? So now we to attain our particular way of to goal, we are doing the Upanayana or Vedharamba. So key take home message is about all the samskaras. Childhood samskara represents a holistic approach to child development by integrating physical, mental, emotional, and spiritual health. This ritual strengthens parent and child bonding and encourage family involvement in child care. Scientific validation of traditional practices can help integrate evidence-based Ayurvedic concept into contemporary healthcare. Understanding the rationale behind samskara promotes respect for cultural heritage while encouraging research and critical scientific evaluations. So reference was from different textbooks of NCSM related to NCSM and some articles. And this was my topic. Thank you. Hope this session was useful.